Today we're going to show you a very unorthodox way to play fighter, but what this character can do is completely ridiculous. So get ready to pick up a quarterstaff and beat the crap out of your opponents with it today on Rolling with Advantage. So today, as we take a look at this build, we are going to pick up a variant human. The reason we're going to do this is because we need a feat at first level to really get this build up off the ground as fast as possible. Now, the first part of this build has been around since like the dawn of 5th edition, but what we can do with it now with the new Unearthed Arcana feats is completely ridiculous. And a lot of people don't realize this build's been out there. The core of this has been there for a while, so and a lot of people don't even know you can do this. So let me kind of shed some light on a really cool combo you can do with a first level variant human. So what we're going to do is for languages, you pick whatever you want. For ability scores, we're going to put 1 in strength and 1 in constitution. We are going to be playing a martial character today. For skills, we're going to take up perception. I think it's one of the best skills in the game, so if you've got a way to get it, grab it. And for feat, we're going to be taking Polearm Master. Now, what Polearm Master allows us to do is whenever we're using a polearm, we're able to attack, and then we can attack with the bottom end of the stick, basically, as a bonus action. It also allows us to use an attack of opportunity anytime someone comes into our threatened area. So theoretically, at first level, we can get 3 attacks off with this build. Where this is a little unorthodox is almost every time you see someone doing this, they're picking up a glaive, a halberd, they're picking up a big weapon. We're going to be picking up a quarterstaff, and I'm going to show you why here in a second, okay? So what we're going to do is we go over to class. First thing we'll do, let's take a look at abilities. So for abilities under point by, we're going to put 15 into strength. Since we've got 1 as a human, that's going to get us to 16. We only need a 10 in dexterity, 13 in constitution, 1 to human makes it a 14. 10 to intelligence, 14 to wisdom, and 10 to charisma. You could play around with this if you just want to completely dump, intelligence and charisma. You could. I don't like having negatives in characters if I can get around it. So this is just a very basic, it's got its strengths. Basically what you're trying to do here is you want to have very high strength and you want to have really good constitution. I like having wisdom for wisdom saves and for some of the skills that we're going to pick. So in the class, under proficiencies, we're going to pick up survival and animal handling. Those are good skills to have so that we're going to have decent wisdom anyway. Since we're talking skills, let's go to description. We're going to be a pirate today. That's going to get me the athletic skill, which you need to have as a fighter. It's a must take. And we're going to get insight, which is another good skill to have since we're going to have decent wisdom. And I like the idea. There's so many games now, so many campaigns now that are using boats. So having somebody that can have navigator's tools and be able to use, boats, it's a good thing to have in any party. So we're going to pick a pirate background. Now, for what we're trying to do with this class, as a first level fighter, the fighting style we're going to pick is dueling. What this allows us to do is we get a +2 to our damage rolls anytime we use a weapon, as long as we have 1 weapon in one hand and then nothing else, and no other weapon in the other hand. So this does not work with 2-handed weapons. It does not work if you're dual wielding. So the idea, this is your sword and board, but in this case, it's going to be stick and board. So the idea behind using dueling and Polearm Master is I'm going to be swinging a D6 for the quarterstaff. I'm going to get +3 damage for my strength and another +2 damage for having this fighting style. So at first level, we're swinging a D6 +5. And then as a bonus action, I can attack with the bottom end of the stick for a D4 damage because of Polearm Master. +3 for strength, +2 for dueling. So D6 +5 for first attack, D4 +5 for second attack. And then if I get an attack of opportunity, it's another D6 +5. That's a lot of attack and a lot of damage for a first level character out of the gate. Okay. Now this build can, if you're trying to do the dueling quarterstaff Polearm Master build, it can work with Paladin, it can work with Ranger, it actually can work with Barbarian. There's a lot of different ways you can go with. But there's a reason we want to stick with the fighter. So stick with me here and I'm going to show you. As we go, so that's our character at first level. And because we're able to use a shield, let me just show you the first level out the gate. We're going to have an 18 armor class, or 12 hit points. And you look right here, this D6 plus 5. Now, the Quarterstaff is a versatile weapon, meaning you could swing it with both hands if you wanted to, but your damage actually will go down because you don't get the dueling benefits. You always want to be sword and board or stick and board with this build. So that's the idea, is that we don't sacrifice any of our defense to pick up extra offense. This is actually a better way to dual wield than actually dual wielding, because the idea behind dual wielding is we want to get more attacks. Okay, well, we can do it this way, and we still get to use a shield. So that is what that looks like. Now, as we go over, we're going to take a look here, and we're going to go up and figure out what this is going to look like later on. So we're going to jump this all the way up to 5th level. And what we're going to do is for the martial archetype, we're going to go and pick up Champion. This is going to make our crit go up to a 19 or 20. Now, when you're swinging a weapon that only does a D6 or a D4, you may think, yeah, but a crit doesn't do a whole lot for you. Hang on. Improved, as we get to the ability score improvement at level 4, you'll understand why we're doing this. We're going to pick up the Crusher feat, which is my new favorite feat out of the new Unearthed Arcana. What this allows us to do is we get to put a point in strength or dex. We're going to put it in strength. And what it allows us to do is once per turn when I hit a creature and I deal bludgeoning damage, which I will be doing with the Quarterstaff, I can move that person 5 feet to an unoccupied space. Think about it this way. If I am using my stick to move someone away on their turn, if they're going to have to come back to me in order to attack, I'm going to get an attack of opportunity using Polearm Master. It's a way to move people around the battlefield to trigger your reaction attack with Polearm Master. The other thing is that when I score a critical hit with a bludgeoning attack, all attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the end of the next turn. It's not just you, it's for your entire party. So whenever you land that critical strike for being a champion, you're actually in a way buffing the entire party by making this target easier to hit. You stagger them in a way. So that's why we're picking champion, because it goes well with Crusher. Okay. So that is, and then at 5th level we get the extra attack action. So for attacking. So basically, when we attack, we get 2 attacks. So at 5th level, we're going to get 2 swings. We're going to get a 3rd attack with our bonus action, and then if we move that person away using Crusher on their turn when they come back, I'm now getting 4 attacks. So this is a crazy consistent damage with using dueling. And you have a lot of control with the stick, okay? So that's 5th level. Now, the question then is, well, how can we get more damage out of this character? The other problem is that, fighters a lot of time may have a problem with mobility. We can fix all of that when we get to our 6th level. And as a 6th level fighter, we get another chance for an ASI or another chance for a feat. The feat that we're going to take here is going to be another Unearthed Arcana feat. We're going to pick Fey Touched. So we're going to come down here and we're going to pick Fey Touched Wisdom. And what this allows us to do, let's pop over to this page, is this allows us to put a point into Wisdom or Intelligence or Charisma. In this case, we're going to pick Wisdom. And we learn Misty Step. So Misty Step is a bonus action. I can move, 30 feet. I think, is it 30 feet or is it 60 feet? It's 30 feet. I was right. Okay. So we can move 30 feet. It's a verbal component spell, so we can still have our stick and our shield. We don't have to worry about casting. It allows us to once per day to jump around the battlefield a little bit. Okay, so this helps with some of that mobility issue. The other thing that this feat allows us to do is it allows us to take a 1st level divination or enchantment spell. The way this feat works is that I can use Misty Step and that one spell that I pick once per day. So I can actually do both, but only once a day. So what'll happen is I'm going to take Hunter's Mark. So a lot of people may want to take a couple levels into Ranger to get this, or take a couple levels into Warlock to pick up Hex, a way to have some type of an effect to up our damage. We can actually do this with a feat now, which is amazing, and I'm so glad that they put this in the game. So what this allows us to do is a bonus action, also as a verbal, so I don't have to worry about my sword and shield or stick and shield. I can put this on my opponent. Now I get an additional D6 damage. So now what we're going to do is we're going to run up for that first round. We're going to Hunter's Mark our target. We're going to hit him with a stick. We're We're going to do a d6 plus 5 with the with our stick, another d6 damage with the Hunter's Mark. We're going to use Crusher to move that person away. Then when they move back towards us, we're going to hit them again with another d6 with the stick, d6 with the Hunter's Mark, plus 5 damage. It's a lot of damage. Now that Hunter's Mark is up, for the rest of combat, every time I hit that guy, I'm hitting him again and again and again with more and more damage. So Hunter's Mark is great with this class. And the other thing is that being that our armor class is higher, it's less opportunity for them to hit us to lose concentration on the Hunter's Mark. So all of this kind of works in tandem. And the cool thing is we don't have to multi-class to do that. So let me go ahead and go down here. We're going to pick up Hunter's Mark because we're kind of doing a build on the fly here. Here it is. Okay, now from here, there's no real reason to multi-class. We can just take this character straight fighter all the way up to 20, because then we get Remarkable Athlete, which helps with our strength, dex, and constitution bonuses. We can then get all these extra ASIs, which we're going to use at this point to do a couple of interesting things. At 8th level, we have an option. This is a flex spot. Now, if you look at this point, if you're tracking, our character sheet is going to look at the fact that we have two odd numbers. We have a 17 in strength, we have a 15 in wisdom. So at level 8, we have the option of coming over here, and we could put a point into strength and a point into wisdom to get to those even numbers, okay? Or we could take a feat to get another point into strength, which would be Heavy Armor Master. So if you wanted to be even more defensive, you could take Heavy Armor Master. If you want to make sure that you get that extra point in wisdom for the wisdom saving throws, you could do that as well. That's the route that I'm going to take, but either one of those is totally fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to come put a point in strength, we're going to put a point in wisdom, and then for additional fighting style at level 10, we're going to take defense to get the extra +1 to AC. And then from these last ones here, we are going to just max out our strength and our constitution. We're just going to go all the way with all of these and pick these up. So constitution all the way across the board, and make sure, let me see, have I gotten there yet? Let's see, I am at 20, 16, yep, we're going to go put more constitution in towards the end. That way, we're very stout, we can stick in the battle, we're doing lots of damage, and we get that very awesome 20th level ability to where we get 1,000,000 attacks. So, and we never have to break our progression for being a fighter. So this is your 20th level champion build using a Quarterstaff, Polearm Master, Hunter's Mark, Misty Step. We did all of this with some of the cool UA feats. There's a lot of ways that you can go this route with the Polearm Master Quarterstaff build. It's really good with Paladin because you get extra attacks to dig for crits, to dig for smites. It's another opportunity you could do that. It's actually really good with Ranger as well because you can take Hunter as a subclass to get extra damage that way. You also get Hunter's Mark that. I've looked at a lot of ways to build a Quarterstaff, dueling character. I feel that if I were to build it, I'd probably build it as a straight fighter because of the new feats that we have that can kind of help round out the characters. So this is the way that I would build this. I think it's completely ridiculous, especially early levels. You're going to be doing way more damage than anybody else. So I think it's a super cool ability to be able to have this if you have played the Quarterstaff Polearm Master build. I would love to hear your experience, so be sure to like, subscribe to the video, comment down below, and until next time, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.